other teams were 12 and 13. Like, why doesn't an undefeated Texas team, UTSA, not hit number 11 as we close out the season? But we're going to have to put a spanking on these last three teams. I think that's the only way we're going to get close. But, you know, I'll tell you what, right now, I don't care if we're 23, 24, 25 some Tuesday. Like, I just want to be ranked, and then I guess we can go from there. But I'd like to see us number 11. I mean, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think, you know, number 11 would be ideal. I mean, it's very possible. And I'm thinking it's got to be 30 plus points on each of these last three games. They've got to dominate. They've got to really, really take it to these last three teams to get that ranking way up there. And you were right. We're not talking college football playoffs. We're not going to make the top five. I understand that completely. But it took a Boise State team a little while to get the respect they got. So we could be seeing something like that. Hey, Nick, I want to keep you on the line coming back into the second segment here for just a little bit to talk a little bit more runners, because I want to talk bowl matchups with you. I looked at the prediction for bowl matchups, so I want to get with you on the line here. Coming up in the second segment, we'll be right back. Shimon on the Beats, Derek Gervin. Rocky is in studio. He's going to get on the mic here in a second. Chris Galler is eating McDonald's, which I'm very upset at. It should be Burger Boy. Rudy Campos Jr., sweep the league. 9:30 a.m. The Answer. We'll be back.
United Collision Care Center, official sponsor of Sweep the League, specializes in body paint, frame, and mechanical services from light cosmetic repairs to heavy collision hits, as well as fleet maintenance. All technicians are platinum certified by ICAR, the top training organization in the collision industry. Quality and customer service are what their business ethics are based on. Trust is the hardest thing to build and the easiest thing to lose. So let's build a mutual relationship that starts with trust and a peace of mind. Contact Lewis and his staff today, 210-595-6413, or visit them at 6575 Pratt Road.
You've been listening to Sweep the League Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Sweep the League. Shemaya is at Shemaya on the BT. Or what about Chris Galler at Official Mr. 300? Sweep the League Radio, sponsored by Project Spurs, the United Collision Care Center. If you want to go visit them, you can also visit us at www.sweeptheleague.com. Hey, sports fans, trading cards is all the hype and it's absolute fire now. Where do you get the best sports cards in town? What's on second? Over on 4177 Nacville Parent Boulevard. Give them a call, 210-590-8444. They have everything you need. Sports cards, basketball, baseball, football, Pokemon cards, sports memorabilia, whatever you want, they've got over at What's on Second. And pick up the phone. Call us on the Project Spurs hotline, 210-308-8867. You've been listening to Sweep the League on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Don't turn that dial. Hey, guys, it's Sweep the League. You've been listening to Sweep the League. Be sure to follow us on all of our Twitters, at Shemaya on the BT, at Sweep the League is myself. Why not go follow Chris Galler at Official Mr. 300, or head over to the website, www.sweeptheleague.com. Again, Sweep the League Radio.
You're listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Sweep the League Radio, ravishing Rudy Campos, Derek Gervin, Shemar on the Beats, Chris Galler disrespecting Burger Boy behind the glass, Rocky Garza from Project Spurs in studio. We are brought to you live and powered by United Collision Care Center, the absolute best out there. Hey, if you're in an accident, we know it's stressful times. Give them a call. They'll get you back on the road in no time. That number is 210-595-6413, United Collision Care Center. Number one coverage of Spurs basketball, whether it's San Antonio Spurs, Austin Spurs, or you know what? The drug-free Spurs League. Remember that? I played in that a long time ago. It is Project Spurs. Michael and his staff out there giving you the absolute best coverage 100% of the time, all the time. Go visit them across all social media, Project Spurs. And what's on second? Derek Gervin, your NBA rookie card is there. I guarantee it. If you want to go pick up a Derek Gervin rookie card, go to what's on second. Those guys out there, Ryan King and his staff, will take care of any of your sports card needs. Anything from sports cards to Pokemon, 210-590-8444. That is what's on second. We are live back with Nick from the Runners Unfiltered podcast. I'm sorry, talking UTSA. We're gonna have him on here for just a little while longer. Here. Nick's on the phone with us right now. Nick, I wanted to talk to you about the bowl games coming up here. Now, I looked at the prediction for the bowls, and I saw that right now they're looking at the Frisco Bowl, which is possibly against San Diego State. Do you feel like they could maybe get into that Birmingham Bowl or the First Responder Bowl? Because if you're looking at the First Responder Bowl, they could go up against a Big 12 or ACC opponent. But what I like about the Birmingham Bowl is that they can be the at-large team to go up against an ACC or an SEC team. Birds against an SEC team, that would make a lot of noise, especially if they can pull off a win over an SEC opponent.
Yeah, look, I think that hopefully Coach isn't watching the game because he's going to be not listening just because he's going to know that I'm speaking. I'm violating a pillar right here, talking cheese. But hey, this is what I'm on here for, so I love it. Look, I think that the top two that we're eyeing right now, the Frisco Bowl or the Independence Bowl there in Shreveport, Louisiana. Look, I'm with you. This is the debate that goes on week in and week out. Look, I think that if we make a bowl, especially if we go undefeated and we can talk Conference USA Championship and all that kind of stuff. Look, we want a big Power 5 team. We want a team that we can make a statement on as we close out the season. So I think there's a lot of bowls still up in the air, but I think that we're probably going to be heading to Dallas or probably Shreveport, Louisiana in that Independence or Frisco Bowl.
Nice. I wouldn't mind. And that's why I said that maybe if you can even get into one of these bowls where you're playing against a Power 5 and you get a UTSA win over a Power 5 team, that's when the eyes start getting bigger and people start taking that notice. So we'll see what happens come bowl time. Nick, I really appreciate you coming on with us here at Sweep the League. We look forward to having even Derek was making good points on the break. You got to quit disrespect. So coming up, we gotta do a lot of transition here because we got a huge show. This is 2 hours, and I feel like there's more content than we've got in 2 hours here. We don't have a whole lot. We've got to go. We're gonna cover MMA and boxing. Canelo fight was last night. Derek went to bed upset because Plant didn't win, but we're gonna get into that here in a little bit. Spurs Cheeseman coming up at the end of the hour. Rocky's gonna bring us the Cheeseman. We're also gonna get into the Henry Ruggs situation. That's a very touching situation. We'll get into Henry Ruggs. A little bit of Aaron Rodgers talk is there because those were the two big things in the NFL. I hate to bring this up, but the Cowboys lost. We're going to get into Cowboys talk. Second hour, Rocky shaking his head. He knows that it's tough to talk. It's not as tough as the Bills. I'm going to bring that up again because Derek is convincing me that the Bills are the best team in the league and didn't happen today. Come on, Derek. Come on.
Well, they weren't tonight. That's for sure. Today, they definitely weren't.
And not only that, Derek beat me last week on the challenge, the sports trivia challenge. I protested and I won that protest. I was giving questions that were really, really hard. I don't buy any of those questions. I scolded the man behind the glass and I told him, don't you ever do that to me again. So he partnered me and Derek tonight We are playing the pyramid in the fourth segment, second hour, very last segment. We are playing the pyramid. I'm getting Galler back. Me and you are going to dominate this competition, Derek. I hope so. Don't let me down like Josh Allen did today. Don't let me down. Speaking of let down, Caleb Plant last night. Canelo, I mean, what can we say about Canelo? We can't really, you can't disrespect the guy. The guy is one of the most decorated champs now, period. I still think the Chavez versus Canelo fight, Julio Cesar Chavez prime against prime Canelo, that would be pretty awesome. I mean, you looking at me like I'm crazy. No, I'm not.
I don't know. I don't know. I love Chavez, but this guy, I think he has more of an arsenal, bigger arsenal than Chavez.
I hear you on that. But Chavez has that chin that you just could not put him down, man.
Canelo has pretty good chin as well. So,
well, you know what? We're gonna let this next person, who is a good friend of mine, settle the debate. She's gonna give us all the boxing, all the MMA stuff. She's a combat fighter in her own world because every time she's joined me on podcasts, she beats me up left and right. I've got so many black eyes from our next guest, Chelsea Torres. Chelsea, you are on Sweep the League, and it's not even a podcast anymore. It's a radio show.
I know. This is awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Now, the first thing I got to ask you before we get into boxing and before we get into MMA here is, are you going to come in studio one day? I got to know this.
I mean, if you're inviting me, I'd be totally down.
I've invited you the entire time I've known you to come on to studios and podcasts and everything. But you're Miss Big Time, so it's kind of hard to get you. I know.
I'm really not. But you just let me know, Rudy. I promise for you, I will come in. You just tell me when.
All right. So, Shemai, we've got that recorded, so I can definitely.
Yes.
Yep, it's on record.
It's on record, so we got it on. So, speaking of records.
Fair enough.
Speaking of records, Chelsea, let's get into the hottest thing right now. It's Canelo.
Yeah.
I mean, he defeated Plant with a TKO in round 11. Are we saying that this is arguably, can we say, the greatest, most decorated fighter we've seen? I mean, we're talking about the likes of, like I said, Chavez earlier. We're talking the likes of Muhammad Ali, all the greatest champions ever. Where is Canelo ranking after beating Plant? Because I still think he needs that trilogy fight, if I'm not mistaken, trilogy fight with Triple G to kind of like settle everything. But where is he ranking right now after this Plant fight?
I think because of everything that he's won, all of the belts that he holds right now, he's definitely up there as the most decorated. And, you know, I have to give him a little bit more respect too, because as if he didn't have respect before, but this fight against Caleb Plant, it seemed to have really gotten under his skin, and we saw a different side of Canelo that we hadn't seen before, right? More of that confidence, more of the showing off, and just flaunting, obviously, the fact that he really is the best out there right now. Now, I think if he's able to get this Triple G fight, if Triple G decides to go up to 168, yeah, I mean, that would kind of nail it in the coffin if it hasn't already been, you know, already. But man, I mean, this fight, I think most people had Canelo anyway winning. I didn't expect it to go through 11 rounds, but I mean, if you watched the fight and you saw how it went, then it was kind of expected to go the distance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And we have actually Michael DeLeon's in here. What's up, Mike? How you doing? He's saying that Chavez Sr. would fight better than Chavez Jr. against Canelo. I'm talking senior. Prime Chavez Sr. when prime Canelo would be, I think, the fight to see here. And yeah, I kind of agree with the whole take on the Canelo. I mean, the most decorated fighter, that is something that if you're a boxing enthusiast like you are and like we are here, I mean, that's something that you're witnessing. You're witnessing greatness right now. I mean, tremendous greatness. That's what's awesome about it. Chelsea, I'm going to keep you on the line here. We got about a minute left here. I want to bring you into this next segment because we still got to talk MMA. Derek is giving me the evil eye because he wants to give you some beef on the Canelo and Plant.
No, I just didn't want. First, I'm gonna say good evening. No, I just didn't want people to forget Manny Pacquiao out there with the 8 different weight divisions. I think that's impressive. Canelo's right there though, but I can't slight. Got to think about Manny as well with the 8 titles and 8 different divisions. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's bringing up Manny in the whole prime conversation that we're going to have with Chelsea after she gives us the MMA lowdown and breakdown. When we come back from this commercial break, this is Sweep the League. Derek Gervin, Rocky Garza in studio, Shmar on the beats, Chris Galler in Punishment Behind the Glass, Rudy Campos Jr., I think that's my name. Yeah, that's my name. Sweep the League, 9:30 a.m. The Answer, Project Spurs Hotline, 210-308-8867. You want to call us? Give us a call now. We'll be back.
Don't let the stress of getting into an accident keep you down. Contact United Collision Care Center, where Lewis and his certified technicians will get you back on the road in no time. They're a 5-star company with over 270 reviews on carwise.com. Quality and customer service are what separate them from the rest, making them the best. Specializing in body paint, frame, and mechanical services, from light cosmetic repairs to heavy collision hits, United Collision Care Center does it all. Contact them today at 210-595-6413 or visit their shop at 6575 Pratt Road. Again, that's United Collision Care Center, the best in the business and official sponsor of Sweep the League.
You've been listening to Sweep the League Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Sweep the League. Shemaya is at Shemaya on the BT. Or what about Chris Geller at official Mr. 300? Sweep the League Radio, sponsored by Project Spurs and United Collision Care Center. If you want to go visit them, you can also visit us at www.sweeptheleague.com. Two Shots Podcast is a fun-filled extravaganza bringing you into the world of sports and entertainment. Joe Garcia and the staff keep you updated on Spurs, combat sports, Dallas Cowboys, and my favorite, everything in Nerdville like Marvel and DC. Head to the line for Two Shots, as in Two Shots Podcast, available across all streaming platforms. No sport is bigger than football here in the Lone Star State. High school football is king on Friday nights, so listening to Along the Wire with B. Damone is a must. Brandon brings you all the latest news and notes, as well as rankings for our local high school football teams here in San Antonio. Cue up the band, get comfortable in your bleacher seat, and tune in for the best high school coverage around with Along the Wire.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
In 2022, the mood jubilant at the Republican Jewish Coalition's annual leadership meeting in Las Vegas, where potential future presidential candidates work to woo some of the party's biggest and most influential donors. Scary times at a few Ivy League schools. Bomb threats at Cornell, Columbia, and Brown, causing evacuations and investigations. Those threats coming 2 days after a bomb threat at Yale. We continue to pay more at the pumps. The average price of gasoline jumping a nickel in the last 2 weeks, now averages $3.49 per gallon. That is $1.30 higher than 1 year ago. This is SRN News.
9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Shout out to everybody out there. Join us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or maybe the TV set in the living room that has the bunny ears. Derek, you're old like me. You know about that. Sweep the League Radio. Derek Gervin, Shmar on the beat. Rudy Campos Jr., Rocky Garza in studio. There's a guy behind the glass. He's kind of creepy. We're going to lower the shades, but that is Chris Galler back there. Speaking of Chris Galler, before we get into anything, any more boxing with Chelsea Torres here, I want everybody to know I went bowling this past Tuesday, and I bowled on the same pair as Chris Galler, and I've defeated him. I had the highest set. So, Derek, if you need bowling lessons, I got you right here.
No, do we want to talk about what happened Wednesday?
300?
I didn't bowl 300. I didn't want to embarrass him. And he did mention Wednesday.
Do we want to talk about Wednesday or what?
I wasn't there Wednesday, so I can't really mention what happened Wednesday. I saw pictures of it, but I don't want to mention it. So apparently he shot okay Wednesday night. He made up for Tuesday night, but just want to throw it out.
Throw him under the bus. You better tell everybody what he shot.
He shot 8-something.
837.
837 Wednesday
31
night.
out of 36 strikes.
All right. So yeah,
There
but
you
if you want lessons, Derek,
Space.
I got you. This is Sweep the League Radio, United Collision Care Center, Project Spurs, and What's on Second, our newest sponsor. Thank you all the guys out there for sponsoring Sweep the League Radio, having us do it here. We're talking Canelo Plant. We're also going to talk MMA with Chelsea Torres, who's still on the line with us. She's real busy. I'm trying to get her off really, really fast here because she's a very busy person. Chelsea, we talked Canelo, we talked Plant, and Derek was bringing up Prime Manny Pacquiao. Before we go into MMA here, give me your thoughts on Prime Pacquiao, Prime Canelo, Prime Chavez. I even saw Prime Floyd Mayweather. What fight would you like to see out of all those guys?
I think right now I would really like to see, I think a lot of boxing fans right now would just rather see Canelo and Triple G. I feel like that's the only one that makes sense, only because of the fights that we've seen them in before, right? We knew that the first one was a draw, and I don't know. Having a trilogy, it almost makes the most sense of, is he the most decorated fighter? Even if somebody like Triple G, he can beat again, like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. Pacquiao, of course, I was able to see, and yes, I think he's definitely up there. Chavez, I never really watched, so
you're showing my age here. You're showing my age bad
sorry.
here. Oh,
when you mentioned that yesterday, I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to go on YouTube. But if we're gonna talk like all the greats and all the greatest of all time, we have to put in Rocky Marciano up there, and of course Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. But that's like a longer conversation for another time, you know?
I got you. Go ahead, Derek.
Don't you think right now people will be interested? There's been a lot of talk, a lot of chatter about either David Benavidez or Jamal Charlo as the next fight for Canelo. What did you think about that?
Hey, Jamal, I would actually like to see. I think that would be a really good matchup for sure. And I think what's so different about Canelo compared to a lot of other fighters is that he's very methodical in the ring. He takes his time. He's not going to rush into it. He's not super aggressive right off the bat. And he's such a great reader. Like, he has that boxing IQ that's super high, and he can read the fighter so well. Jamal, I think, would be a good matchup.
Awesome. See, that's the reason why Chelsea's on here, because she's the official, I'm going to say, combat sport insider for us here at Sweep the League. Speaking of combat sports, MMA last night. I didn't quite watch MMA. I know I'm terrible, but I had another more important thing to do. Bluey cartoon was on, and I had to watch it with my daughter. So that's more important. Yeah, that's more important than MMA. But speaking of MMA last night, the biggest thing was Usman defeating Covington. Give us the rundown real quick on the MMA card last night, the UFC card last night. Also, I'm going to allow Chris Gallard to ask you a question about the UFC because he's been a nice guy here for the last 30 minutes or so. So he's going to ask you something, but give us the rundown real quick on that UFC card last night.
Good grief. Okay, well, this card was probably one of the best all year. And I'm talking from early prelims to the main card. Well, we can go ahead and just talk about the main card in general. There was at least 2 rematch title fights. You have Rose Namajunas against Shang Weili. An incredible fight the first time around. You just never really got to see Shang actually do anything because she got knocked out with a kick. This time around, it went the distance. Actually, a lot of fights in the main card went the distance. And Thug Rose, she's literally the best, and she's that strawweight champion. Then, of course, Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. If you watch their first fight, like the first one around, 2 years ago? It's very debatable that Colby could have won that fight. It's very possible. He was fighting up until the end of the third. Great, landing a lot of shots on Usman. And I'm talking about the first fight. And the 4th round, he ended up having a broken jaw, and he still fought through, and then he ended up getting knocked out in the 5th. This time around, last night, Kamaru Usman and Colby, they actually weren't as aggressive coming off, really starting up into the fight. Again, very methodical, taking their time, knowing when to go in for a takedown. Great takedown defense. Ultimately, Kamaru won. Now, if we're going to go also from the very beginning of the fight, it was Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje, which I believe was possibly the best fight throughout the entire night. They're literally duking it out the entire time. Just straight shots, hitting each other with straight shots. There was a few takedowns, of course, a lot of kicks to Chandler's legs. So you could see that he was very wobbly, and he was even on crutches at the end of the night. Gaethje ended up winning that one. Frankie Edgar also fought in the main card, 40-year-old, hoping to make a comeback. Bantamweight, but he ended up losing. He ended up getting knocked out with a front kick. And Shane Burgos and Billy Quarantillo was also on that card for the main card. And Shane Burgos, he's a boxer. Billy Quarantillo, who's like the Energizer Bunny in the ring. He just couldn't really do much. And Burgos ended up winning that fight. But seriously, super great card. If you have the time, you need to go and rewatch these fights. I mean, and if you even watch the prelims, a lot of the prelims were KOs or TKOs, so that would be a quick recap. The main card would probably take a little bit longer, but a lot of fun. A great night, very long night, but it was a lot of fun.
See, Professor Torres is giving me homework. I need to go back and watch all these fights. So I'm going to do that for Chelsea. Before we let you go, Chelsea, Chris Galler, the man, the myth, the legend himself, was in here begging me, saying, please, I want to ask Chelsea a UFC question. So go ahead.
Hi, Chelsea. I and you probably answered my question, but the Burgos fight, you don't think Billy won that? Like, I'm not a big expert in UFC. I just started watching it recently, but like, to me, Billy looked like he won that fight.
You think so? Okay,
I do.
My thing.
But again, I'm not the expert.
No, you're fine. Here's my thing. I know it was a unanimous decision on Shane. I just felt like Quarantillo, he stays really busy, and he was definitely attacking Burgos, and he was going for a lot of takedowns, like attempts. It's just nothing was really connecting. And I just felt like he was definitely getting boxed by Burgos. Even got saved by the bell, like in the second round, I believe. In the third round, I know that Billy could barely even walk just from all of the kicks that he was getting. So I think it was just the pressure from Burgos. Burgos was maintaining most of the time, like in the pocket in the middle of the octagon, and he was really controlling that fight. So to me, I felt like when you look at, and I was even looking at the significant strikes and, all of that today, and Burgos just had a heck of a, I don't know if I'm allowed to test them, but he had a heck of a lot more striking significant strikes, especially to the head, and even to the body too, more than Billy. So I guess if you're going to look at it even from a number standpoint, I think unanimous makes the most sense. Now, I do have to say, though, I was kind of curious about the Wiley and Thug Rose fight, because that one, I was a little iffy on the scoring. I honestly thought that was a lot closer than Rose winning. I don't know if she won. Oh, she won by a split decision. So, I mean, it could honestly go either way, but to me, that was a lot closer than the Shane Burgos and Billy fight.
Okay.
That is Chelsea Torres, the absolute best in the business. That's why she says, I want to be a part of Sweep the League. And she's going to be a part of Sweep the League, as all of the mixed martial arts, boxing stuff that's going to be coming down very, very soon. Chelsea, appreciate you joining us. And I am not forgetting, I have it written down, I might even get a tattoo that says Chelsea is supposed to come in studio to remind everybody that you will be in studio. I'll get back with you, have you in studio as soon as we can.
Yes, please. Thank you. This is awesome. I appreciate you.
All right, Chelsea, thank you for calling in. That was Chelsea Torres, our insider for boxing and all things MMA, UFC, everything. It was a great card last night. It was a great card, Derek. I mean, we saw, can we say history being made with Canelo, decorated boxer. The UFC card was, like you said, was probably one of the best so far. I mean, overall, great night of mixed martial arts and boxing.
And Chelsea's, I have to give her some credit, man. She's awesome. I'm glad we're gonna have. Oh man, she was really awesome. Expert analysis.
Behind the scenes thing here, I talked to Chelsea and said, "Hey Chelsea, I'd love for you to be a part of the show. Give us all that." She said that she won't do it for less than 160 million. I got her down to 0, so I was able to work the magic, get her down to 0. But I got to send her a box of cookies or something apparently, because she wants a cookie. So we're gonna have to do that. Send her the box of cookies to make sure she stays with Sweep the League. Rocky Garza's in studio. He's going to give us Spurs Cheeseman here in the next segment. I think it has something to do with Jakob. I think it also has something to do with draft picks. Should we stay put? Stuff like that. Everything that's buzzing around Spurs Twitter. Rocky, you've been quiet. I want to get you a little bit more talking, man. I mean, you're the pretty face in the building here right now. We can't just have a pretty face on camera. We got to get you talking, man. Spurs right now, playing against the Thunder. Do you think they can squeak it out?
I don't know, man. Currently, we're down by 10. In the preview I wrote for Project Spurs, I said we're going to lose. I am optimistic about the team, but, I mean, we're going to get those losses in the whole season. It's going to be a tough season for Spurs fans who are usually spoiled throughout these years, winning. But I just think we're not going to pull it out. I mean, I'm sorry to say.
We're down 10. I thought we were up 14.
He's looking at.
Weren't we up 14?
We're down 10 right now.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Going into the fourth.
Shemai and I were looking at Derek like, all right, he's going to say. And I saw Derek looking like, we're down 10.
We were up 14 points.
Yeah.
That was hilarious, man. That look on the yeah, I kind of was like saying we're up 10, and this is we're down 10. I'm like,
we're up 14.
We're up 14. Okay.
Yeah, at one point.
Yeah, at one point. It was 10 at the half.
Oh God. Well, let's cross our fingers. Hey, we're in San Antonio. We sell candles at every corner. Let's start lighting candles for the Spurs. I know another guy on radio does that. Maybe we should start lighting candles here. This is Sweep the League, United Collision Care Center. If you want to give us a call on the Project Spurs hotline, Project Spurs 210-308-8867. Spurs Cheeseman. Coming up next, we are all UTSA fans, and you know what? Damn it, we're all Lion fans too. We all love the Detroit Lions some way or another. I love the Detroit Lions. I'm loving Shemai on the beats as well. Derek Gervin, Shemai on the beats. Rocky Garza in studio. Chris Galler's happy because he got to talk to Chelsea Torres like he wanted. Rudy Campos Jr., 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Sweep the League. We'll be back. All you music heads out there, from punk to metal to indie, the Chuck Van Show plays the best in real local music from San Antonio and around Texas. Real new music you're not hearing anywhere else. Sundays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on modsnapradio.com. It's the Chuck Van Show.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Mark the MC, and you are listening to Sweep the League Radio. Before we get back to the show, here's a message from I Am Refocused.
I'm focused, man. Focused.
IamRefocusedRadio.com are proud friends of Sweep the League Radio. With new interviews each week, we are looking for special guests. Do you have a story? Are you an athlete, music artist, business owner? Visit IamRefocusedRadio.com today and send us a message. Now, back to Sweep the League Radio.
Spurs season isn't just 82 games, but year-round. That's why you need to make sure you have the best coverage around at all times. Project Spurs provides you with the most in-depth Spurs coverage all day, every day. Articles, analysis, and live game coverage provided by some of the best journalists in the business. Need more? Listen to the Spurs Cast with Paul Garcia for even more Spurs-related news and notes. Visit ProjectSpurs.com for all the latest Spurs information, or follow them on social media. Twitter is at Project Spurs, or just search for Project Spurs on Facebook and Instagram. Project Spurs, dominating Spurs coverage and proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Hey guys, it's Sweep the League. You've been listening to Sweep the League. Be sure to follow us on all of our Twitters, at Shemai on the BT, at Sweep the League is myself. Why not go follow Chris Galler at official Mr. 300, or head over to the website, www.sweeptheleague.com. Again, Sweep the League Radio. Man, Shemai on the beats, he's dropping that what is it, Barry White, Make Love song, Make Love.
Oh, yeah.
And he's even got the voice to do that. That's the reason why he's on this show as well. Shemai on the beats, Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr., Rocky Garza about to make his Spurs Cheeseman debut, Chris Galler back there having fun in the green room. I don't know what we're going to call that, the podcast room, the green room, whatever. We'll call it the corner. It doesn't matter. This is Sweep the League, United Collision Care Center, Project Spurs, and What's on Second. Welcome to What's on Second. Hey, welcome to the family. Let me give you a few numbers here. United Collision Care Center, 210-595-6413. Give them a call if you need any work done. You're in an accident. Take the stress off your shoulders. They will take that stress onto their shoulders, get you back on the road in no time. Project Spurs. Hey, go visit them all across all social media platforms. Project Spurs, #1 in Spurs coverage. What's on second? They got anything from baseball, basketball cards. If you want that Derek Irvin rookie card, go get it. They have it there. Meet Derek in the streets. He will sign it. If not, I'll sign. I'll forge Derek's signature. I don't care. I'll do it if you see me too out there. Or if you need Pokemon cards, sports memorabilia, anything, go to What's on Second on 4177 Naco Parent Boulevard, 210-590-8444. All right, man. Everybody loves this segment. Everybody loves this segment. This is probably the hottest segment. I know for sure it's the hottest segment on Sundays. It's probably the hottest segment all over the city. It is Spurs Cheeseman. Hey, Rocky, are you ready for Spurs Cheeseman?
I'm ready as I can be, man.
He's as ready as he can be. Somebody drop the Cheeseman. Sometime
He's
today.
not dropping today. I think
He's not dropping. I wonder if I can do that. If I have to do it, I'll do it because I remember it. Look at that. He's not even working. All right, Rocky, you brought in some kind of juju, brother, because we can't get the Cheeseman drop. So I hear about the Spurs this, y Spurs that, y como que es, y como que esta, but I never hear about the real Spurs Cheeseman. Dime, por favor. I don't have the voice, but I have the drop. What's the Cheeseman, Rocky? Give it to us.
So some things happening on Spurs Twitter is, how do we mask the absence of Jakob Poeltl? Last game you saw Doug McDermott getting some minutes at center. Jock Lando didn't really get any minutes. Some other things that are happening is people are debating whether Josh Primo should be getting minutes for the team right now or should he stay in Austin. And just lastly, should we make a trade for someone just to make a push towards, going towards All-Star break? It just we don't know what direction we're taking. It's just very frustrating for fans, and I guess it's just kind of unclear where the team's heading.
Yeah, so I mean, the Cheeseman, obviously, what we're getting from fans is what we do on Spurs Cheeseman is the fans talk, whether it should be tankathon, get those draft picks in, try for the playoffs. Primo going to Austin, where his first dunk or his first points in Austin was a thunderous dunk. I did see that highlight. Also, the Jakob thing. I mean, we always go to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Derek Gervin, when it comes to the Cheeseman. Derek, let everybody know in San Antonio the absolute truth when it comes to this Cheeseman.
I'll tell you, Jakob Poeltl, I don't think he's one of the more underrated guys around the NBA. He has a high skill set. I mean, if you look at it, he's a good passer. He's very good setting screens. He's very good defensively against this pick and roll. I mean, he's just a very underrated player, and I like him a lot. Without him, and he's also a rim protector. And a lot of people around the league aren't familiar with him because, of course, they don't cover our Spurs. I'll never figure that out. But they have a bunch of nice playing young guys that are grooming, learning to play together. And as the season go on, I think they'll still be competitive. But they definitely have to have Jakob out of there because out there on the floor because he does a lot of different things. He brings a lot of different elements to the team.
So that's Jakob right there. Give me your thoughts, Rocky, on Primo here. I mean, everyone wants cousin because Primo's Spanish for cousin.
Yeah.
Everybody wants cousin here to be on the main roster, but we're not getting him on the main roster. Is it wasted time?
I mean, it's still early in the season, but I mean, I think you should be getting those minutes. If we're gonna head towards a youth development, why not get in those minutes? We understand, we brought in a Forbes, but when Forbes is not hitting his threes, knocking down, he's a liability on the floor. If you bring in Primo, give him, some 10, 12 minutes a game, let him get his feet wet. You're going to see that slashing ability, that long length where he can guard on both ends, guard, and then he can shoot. He's developing that shot with chip, and that dunk was crazy, man. When I saw him just yam it, that just reminded me of that Russell Westbrook athleticism you saw, But I'm not saying he's Russell Westbrook, they're both different players, but they should be getting those minutes if we're going to head towards the youth. And there's no point of playing Forbes or, just any other vets right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I want to see Primo, but I'm also that fan that is on the other side of the tracks here when I say I'm okay with him in Austin right now. I mean, he still has to develop. He's 18 years old. I think he's 18, right? 18 years old. So I still think the development is there. He's going to get a lot of playing time in Austin. So that gives him the skill set that he's going to need to develop to come into the NBA. But I still feel like Derek might be thinking that his best move is to stick with the active roster and not in Austin. Is that how you're feeling, Derek? Or do you feel like Austin would be beneficial?
I think he's ready for the NBA. I think you let him learn in the fire, and that's the kind of player that he is. He's not the average rookie we've had here. That's why they took him so young. The kid has special gifts, and I think right now it's not like the Spurs are 12-2 or whatever. So if everyone else, the other guys are learning, why not let him? Wieskamp and those guys, I could see them in the G League. But this kid here, I'm letting him learn in the fire because I'm looking at his career. Spurs probably want to keep this kid for a lot of years. And I see him as being a leader.
Yeah, you got Michael in the chat here. And also, what's up to Clint Proctor? He was on here as well. Josh Miller's in here. He's asking if he wants us to backtrack. And I'm just going to mention this real quick. He said, are we all Lions fans? And I'm thinking, yeah, we are all Lions fans. We're all Lions fans. No doubt about it, we are.
Well, I'm from Detroit, Josh, so I am. And Shemaya's a Lions fan. So you got two of us in here.
I mean, here's the thing real quick. Set the record straight. Lions are nowhere to be found right now in this season, unfortunately. But, it is what it is.
Well, I mean, you only get one bye week in the NFL, but it seems like the Lions have been on a bye week every single week. Oh, God. So Michael's also in here saying that Primo's going to get 30-plus minutes per game in Austin. And that's something that you want to see a rookie get. You want to see a rookie get a lot of playing time. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I mean, you go to Austin, you get developed, you get the minutes per game, you're doing all that you can there. But then if you come to the NBA, you're playing against the best competition outside of the G League. But are you getting those kind of minutes? That's the problem that I see. It's like, do you see him, and I hate using the word waste talent, but do you waste the talent making him the 12th man on the roster?
Why does he need to be the 12th man? I want you to think about this. If Brand Forbes is not scoring, what is he doing? He's not playing defense. Mm-hmm. So you got to look at that as well. If Derek White plays a lot of minutes and continues to play, what happens to him? And I'm not trying to wish injuries on anyone, but he gets hurt. Mm-hmm. So why can't this young guy learn on the fly, take some of the pressure off of those guys, and he can flat out play?
He can.
He's not a G leaguer. I understand them want to give him minutes and 30 minutes, but why can't he play 15 minutes with the Spurs and learn on the fly?
I agree. Yeah. I mean, what are you thinking the same thing, Rocky? Because for me, like I said, I'm on the edge of like, I love him in Austin to get the playing time, but I also want to see him with the guys on the roster. I mean, it makes sense. We're not seeing, okay, be honest. Are we seeing anybody on this team guard-wise outside of DeJounte that is just making a statement that develops, like needs all these minutes?
Didn't Primo already get a few minutes this season?
He did.
And when he got him, he played quite well, didn't he?
He's shooting 100% from the field.
I know, 3 for 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I know, yeah, that's my point. I'm just saying he would only get better. He's not the average player that they have. Right now, if you look at their team, do they have anybody capable of getting 20 points?
God.
They don't have a go-to guy. You got to see what this guy has because he has a high skill set.
Can Vassell be that go-to guy?
I think he can be, but I'm hoping Pop, if they keep him in that role, because he also plays. He's Kawhi 2.0 to me, a young Kawhi.
Oh,
don't get it twisted now. When Kawhi was here, this guy reminds me a lot of Kawhi. He's not going to take a lot of bad shots, but he can score and he defends well.
Yeah.
Young Kawhi Leonard, just in a different. He doesn't whine. He plays basketball.
Yeah, and bouncing off the Vassell thing, you have Spurs Twitter saying, well, Vassell didn't get Austin minutes a lot, but like we were needing minutes at the wing position last year, so that's why. But he came in more ready than Primo. Primo's still 18. I heard that Primo doesn't even have a driver's license yet. He gets drived everywhere, man. This guy can't even drink yet. It's crazy to think, but I just think that you have to look at it at the roster as a whole. We mentioned earlier they have so many guards. You gotta look at the end of the day whether they're expendable. And it's not a bad thing. Whether you see Lonnie not getting re-signed or Derek that's injury a lot. They're good players, nothing against them, but you got to see if you can move on from them maybe because you get Primo those minutes, man. Primo is that guy. I personally when he got drafted, I was like, who the heck is Primo, man? But after seeing him ball out, I'm biting my tongue out, and I'm really hoping he goes off. I had nothing against him, but. He was just balling out, man.
HEB.
Rudy, I told you 2 guards needed to go. This is your first day on the show. I said 2 guards needed to go. Make room for Primo.
I think we're gonna have to go right now. Derek Gervin, Smile on the Beach, Rocky Guards in studio, Chris Gallo. I'm gonna go visit with him right now. Rudy Campos Jr. Sweep the League. We'll be back, guys. High School Athlete of the Week coming up.
You're smart, man.
Locked On Spurs gives you in-depth access to your local San Antonio Spurs team 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Jeff Garcia brings you multiple weekly episodes to include the ever-so-popular fan episode, giving you the fans' perspective. Download all past or present episodes of Locked On Spurs on all streaming platforms. Get locked in today with Locked On Spurs.
You are listening to Sweep the League Radio.
The Profits Podcast dives deep into sports with your hosts, Kevin and Rashad. The guys deliver multiple aspects of all the sports we love, including Kev's reasons as to why you never pay a running back. Always a great time to be had on the Profits Podcast. Don't waste your time trying to predict the future of sports. Allow the real profits to do it for you on the Profits Podcast.
You are listening to Sweep the League Radio.
Are you looking for the most in-depth coverage of your Spurs teams? Project Spurs provides news and notes whether it's your San Antonio Spurs or the Austin Spurs. Amazing player analysis, game-by-game coverage, breaking news and articles. Project Spurs will be your first source each time. Also, listen to the Spurs Cast, the first Spurs podcast with Paul Garcia, to give you even more news and notes regarding your hometown Spurs. Michael and his staff make it a mission to provide you with everything you need to make you part of the action. Head over to ProjectSpurs.com or follow them across all social media platforms. Just search Project Spurs, proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
You've been listening to Sweep the League Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Sweep the League. Shemaya is at Shemaya on the BT. Or what about Chris Geller at Official Mr. 300? Sweep the League Radio, sponsored by Project Spurs, the United Collision Care Center. If you want to go visit them, you can also visit us at www.sweeptheleague.com.
Del Walmsley talks about understanding the system.
Guy told me the other day on the radio, he says, I understand the system. They let the stock market go up to feed our ego to think we're getting somewhere, and then they crash it on us and take it all away. So now we're stuck. He says, I've lived through 2 of those cycles, so he started investing in real estate to get away from the cycle.
Are you ready to break the cycle? Start investing in real estate today. Find out how. Join Lifestyles Unlimited. Start with our live online free workshop. Register.
A major factor in the 5-cent increase in gas over the last 2 weeks. Another contributor was a surge in ethanol.
That is because of dislocation, difficulties, and bottlenecks, as with so many other supplies in the country. And since ethanol market,
Lundberg says the national average now $3.49 per gallon.
Crude oil prices actually dropped by almost $2.50 per barrel during the 2-week period. But on the very last day, November 5, they jumped right back up by that same amount. So it's been gyrating. There isn't any reason to suppose oil prices will crash. So I think we will still have a few more cents per gallon coming.
Also at townhall.com, one of the nation's largest utility holding companies has now agreed to refund customers of its 3 Ohio electric companies $306 million after collecting excessive profits over a period. Jeremy House has the story.
The settlement between Akron-based First Energy and the Ohio Consumers Council and other groups includes $96 million in direct refunds, including $51 million to residential customers. Customer bills will see another $210 million in credits over a 4-year period starting in 2022. Consumers Counsel Bruce Weston says the refund is a culmination of hard-fought efforts over several years to secure refunds for consumers regarding First Energy's high profits, and that they hope it's a trend. Jeremy House reporting.
Bomb threats at 3 Ivy League schools over the weekend. No reports of any injuries. More on these stories at townhall.com.
When you take the time to really get to know your body, you find that the root causes of its aches and pains are usually simple. The older we get, the more exercise we undertake, and the more injuries we sustain, the more inflammation our bodies suffer from. It's so simple. And my answer to that pain is Relief Factor, which I discovered years ago and take every single day to great effect. It helps the body to fight off inflammation, and I've never found anything that worked better in my life. I can't recommend it enough. 70% of the more than 500,000 people who have tried Relief Factor end up ordering more. That's because it works for them the way it works for me. Isn't it time for you to get out of pain? Your first step to becoming pain-free should be to order the 3-week quick start for the discounted price of only $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF to find out more about this offer. Feel the difference. relieffactor.com.
God bless us, everyone.
What's the biggest blessing you can imagine this Christmas season? How about having your mortgage or rent paid for 2022? It's possible when you enter the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Sweepstakes. Enter once a day to increase your opportunities to win. See rules and conditions for details.
To our Merry Christmas. God bless us.
God bless us.
Enter the Christmas Mortgage Miracle Sweepstakes. Visit 930amtheanswer.com. Sponsored by Elmer's Heating and Air.
Hour number 2, we are back. Sweep the League Radio, United Collision Care Center, Project Spurs, and What's on Second, our newest sponsor. Welcome all three guys. We are powered by all three companies. Thank you for being our sponsors and with us here on Sweep the League Radio on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. It is hour 2. Normally we go to high school football, a high school athlete of the week in the second segment. We're going to start off the first segment, high school athlete of the week. Brandon from Along the Wire joining us once again to give us our high school athlete of the week. And hopefully for the third week in a row, he doesn't give me any crap about any topic, but I seriously doubt that that's going to go happen. He's going to give me something. Brandon, it's time for high school athlete of the week, brother. What you got, Brandon?
All right, guys. This week's Sweep the League High School Athlete of the Week is class of 2023 wide receiver from Johnson, Alejandro Tavares. He had 7 catches for 157 yards and 3 touchdowns as Johnson clinched district, finished their season 10-0, and they beat the Clark Cougars. So congratulations, Alejandro, and congratulations, Johnson High School. Alejandro Tavares is the Sweep the League Athlete of the Week.
Congratulations, Alejandro, and Johnson as well. I mean, hey, clinching that playoff berth. Brandon, as far as high school football is concerned, what is the one team that everybody needs to keep their eye on right now? And after seeing the rankings, I know it's not Central Catholic, but who's that one team that everyone needs to keep their eye on right now, Brandon?
Keep your eye on Brennan. Brennan High School. Brennan High School has the best chance, looking at the bracket, to make it to the state semis so far. I haven't gone further than that because I'm looking at other areas. There's 4 different regions, and all of San Antonio was always in the 4th region for all those. And Brennan has the best chance out of all teams in San Antonio to bring home that state title.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you every single week giving us the high school athlete of the week. We're looking forward again to having you next week as well. And I just got to ask, is there anything? Last week you gave me crap about divorcing my Falcons, and after saying that, they went out and won today. So I'm thinking I should probably talk more divorce, right? When it comes to the Falcons.
Exactly. It's the threat. they got serious after that.
I think Cowboy fans need to start talking divorce after today's game.
Oh, actually, shout out Caden Stearns on the Denver Broncos. He's from Steele High School, and he picked off Dak Prescott today.
Awesome. Hey, Brandon, I appreciate you coming on, brother. We will see you again next week. Appreciate it very, very much for our High School Athlete of the Week.
All right, guys. Thank y'all.
All right. That is Brandon from Along the Wire. Great podcast. You want to get your high school football fix? Brandon's the man to do it. You can obviously get everything high school football from Along the Wire. All right, man. We were talking in the break here. We were going back to Spurs talk, G League talk. You made a good point there, because the one thing that you get in the NBA that you don't get in the G League, and it's weird because it doesn't have anything to do with basketball on the court. It's the mentality. It's the travel, going from city to city, longer distances, city to city, playing games here, playing games there, back-to-back nights, whatever. You were saying that has a big, big thing as far as mentally focused on if you're in the NBA. It's all mental right there for you. So that would also benefit Primo. Being young is getting that type of, focus mentally is what I'm trying to get us for the G League, between G League and the NBA.
Well, Primo, you want him. He's ahead of the curve in my eyes. Once I keep saying it, I think the guy is special. He has potential to be special. He needs to learn how to be a pro. Hanging around those guys that are the veterans, hanging around the Keldon Johnsons, the DeJountes, as opposed to, you can't learn that in the G League. I like the G League. I think it's a really good league for the guys. It gives guys a chance, some guys to get in shape. It gives other guys a chance to be seen. But in Primo's case, I'd rather have him with the squad daily and going practicing with these guys, because as you know, during the season, there's not a lot of practice. So let him learn what it's like to be in the hotels. Let him learn what it's like to get up and have to go to shoot around. Let him learn what it's like after the games, how you have to take care of where you go, and just the professionalism. And I think that only make him a better player.
Yeah, and that's something you don't get as far as G League is concerned. I mean, I hear you loud and clear. Primo's ready. I think out of a lot of the rookies that we drafted, Keldon's really, Keldon's going to be special. I think Vassell is going to still be special. Primo has that same mentality for everybody. He's going to be special is the way we feel. Those three guys, are those three guys that we can potentially see as being that three-headed monster that this organization needs going into the future? That's something that I'm looking at. With Primo, Vassell, and Johnson, you've got Murray, who, can we say Murray's the leader right now on this team?
Yes,
he's leading them.
Yes.
So you finally got a leader. These other young guys coming up, it's like, well, you want to see more Primo with these guys. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm torn. I don't mind him in Austin, but I also see where you're coming from. And I see, okay, you're convincing me more and more that he should not be in Austin. He should be on this active roster.
If you look at the Spurs right now, I know they're trying to play small ball a lot, but when you look at it, they only shot the other night, 16 three-pointers?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it, they don't really have a lot of shooters, guys that can create off the dribble. They have guys that have to catch and shoot. And I would say Doug McDermott could maybe go off the dribble, one or two dribbles. But if you look at it, if you crowd Bryn Forbes, you're taking him out of the game, basically. So you're playing with 4 offensive guys against 5 defenders. And they got to figure it out. Their backcourt is too crowded. And we all know that. They got to start focusing more on the front court. And you got to figure out who are going to be the guys that are going to be on the floor when you go down the stretch, those last 4 or 5 minutes.
So, and one thing that was brought up too was, and it comes up almost every single week with us, do they make a move? Do they make a move? Do they make a move? It's like the trade deadline coming up, come February. Rocky was bringing that up as well. The trade deadline coming up, do they make the move? If you're going to make a bold move, you're going to have to move one of the younger guys. That's kind of obvious if you want to make a bold move. You're not going to get a whole lot when it comes to just Thaddeus Young.
Do they want to win, Rudy, or do they want to look at it more like Sam Presti in Oklahoma City, where you start stacking up draft picks like the Celtics in Oklahoma City, or do they want to compete?
If it's me,
that's the easiest question.
I take draft picks. I'm a draft pick kind of guy. You eventually have a dynasty. You've got your dynasty. But like every dynasty, it never goes forever. You have to rebuild, and that's the part I don't get. Why don't they?
Don't you owe it to the fans if you're going to rebuild? Don't you owe it to them to let them know that? Because the fans, you can't play with the fans' feelings. A lot of fans think if they only 1 or 2 moves from maybe competing. So if you're able to make a move before the deadline and compete, do you go to the lotto already? Some people want them to try to win. I think they're very competitive. I only think they're 1 or 2 pieces away from being a really good team.
What? Okay, give me a piece.
They need a guy, a 6'9". They need a wing guy that can come in here and get you 20. They need like a Zach LaVine type player. I'm not saying maybe not necessarily on that level, but a guy can go off the dribble. Andrew Wiggins, a guy that can get you 20 a night in the right system. If you let Wiggins get him in the right system, he's still a guy that's going to get you 20 and 8 every night. They need a guy that can put the ball in the basket.
Real quick, Rocky, what do you think?
I mean, but if we go after a Wiggins, are you willing to take on that contract though?
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying a guy like that.
Yeah, a guy like that.
Even a Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, I mean, I personally agree too. I feel like they need a solid 4 as well. One name that I see a lot on Spurs Twitter is the swing for the fences for DeAndre Ayton. But that's going to take a lot for them. You're going to have to give up a lot with the farm, but like we mentioned earlier, the guards are expendable, man.
Cowboy fans, we haven't forgot you. We're going to come back with a Cowboy update, Texans update. I don't know why we have Texans update. Derek Gervin, Shimon on the Beats, Rocky Garza, Chris Galler, Rudy Campos Jr., Sweep the League. We'll be back, guys.
United Collision Care Center, official sponsor of Sweep the League, specializes in body paint, frame, and mechanical services from light cosmetic repairs to heavy collision hits, as well as fleet maintenance. All technicians are platinum certified by ICAR, the top training organization in the collision industry. Quality and customer service are what their business ethics are based on. Trust is the hardest thing to build and the easiest thing to lose. So let's build a mutual relationship that starts with trust and a peace of mind. Contact Lewis and his staff today, 210-595-6413, or visit them at 6575 Pratt Road.
You've been listening to Sweep the League Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Sweep the League. Shemaya is at Shemaya on the BT. Or what about Chris Galler at Official Mr. 300? Sweep the League Radio, sponsored by Project Spurs, the United Collision Care Center. If you want to go visit them, you can also visit us at www.sweeptheleague.com. Hey, sports fans, trading cards is all the hype and it's absolute fire now. Where do you get the best sports cards in town? What's on second? Over on 4177 Nacro Parent Boulevard. Give them a call, 210-590-8444. They have everything you need. Sports cards, basketball, baseball, football, Pokemon cards, sports memorabilia, whatever you want, they've got over at What's on Second. And pick up the phone. Call us on the Project Spurs hotline, 210-308-8867. You've been listening to Sweep the League on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Don't turn that dial. Hey, guys, it's Sweep the League. You've been listening to Sweep the League. Be sure to follow us on all of our Twitters, at Shemaya on the BT, at Sweep the League is myself. Why not go follow Chris Galler at Official Mr. 300, or head over to the website, www.sweeptheleague.com. Again, Sweep the League Radio. Shemaya dropping the slow beats because why? Because I see nothing but tears in the eyes of Cowboys and Texans fans, obviously. Why? Because they both went down today. Derek Gervin, Rudy Campos Jr., Rocky Garza, Shemaya on the beat. Galler behind the glass is about to drop some Cowboy and Texans news updates, whatever you want to call them. Nobody cares right now because obviously nobody gives a damn when the teams lose, but we'll get that update here for you in just a second. Sweep the League Radio, United Collision Care Center, Project Spurs, What's on Second, sports cards. Hey, guys, if you're looking for the sports cards, whether it's sports cards or Pokemon cards or memorabilia, call them 210-590-8444. What's on Second? Visit them, 4177 Nacro Parent Boulevard, United Collision Care Center. 210-595-6413. Luis and the guys out there will take care of everything you need. Body repair, paint job, anything you need. Go visit the guys at United Collision Care Center. Project Spurs, Michael DeLeon and his staff do a fantastic job. All the Spurs coverage, absolute best in the business. How good is it? Michael's giving us a shout out on the comment section, telling us to stay off Spurs Twitter. I am tempted to go on Twitter here in just a little bit and see what's going on Spurs Twitter. So Michael and the staff do a tremendous job. Project Spurs. Go visit them across all social media or see them at projectspurs.com. All right, man. We tried to push it off to the very end, but we got to get the NFL talk going. We got to get the Cowboy update. We already know Derek Irvin's upset because the Bills lost and only scored 6 points. Josh Allen only had 9 points in fantasy, so I am screwed on that side. But nonetheless, the Falcons won. It's still a happy day. Nobody cares about the Falcons other than myself. Chris Galler, drop it for everybody. We need the Cowboy and Texans update, please.
Well, as everyone knows, Dallas lost 30-16. They only had a total of 78 rushing yards. Dak had 233 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. That's about it for.
There's not much to say on the
Cowboys side. Likewise for the Texans, they lost 9-17 against Miami. Tyrod Taylor only had 240 yards with 3 interceptions, and that was also not a very good running game for either team. Actually, Texans only had 47 total rushing yards.
That is your update, your Texas team's update. Apparently, the best team in Texas still resides in San Antonio.
Also, Rudy,
football-wise.
Real quick, the game going on right now, 14-3, Tennessee. So I don't know if we want to say rip to Coach Gio's Rams. It's still early though, but it's I think there's about 10 minutes left in the half. So Tennessee just got the ball. So.
All right. Well, I took the Rams tonight, so obviously that's not
I did too.
A good pick. All right, man. So we're going to get into some NFL talk now. We've got the pyramid coming up at the very last segment. We're going to play the game. Tonight's game is pyramid. Chris and Rocky are teaming up. I'm teaming up with Derek. Hopefully we get the win. I'm 0-1 in games. Derek is 1-0. He wants to stay undefeated. He's a road runner. He's a former UTSA. He's a UTSA legend. Not even former UTSA legend. He wants to stay undefeated. Yeah. So I'm hoping we can stay undefeated. Pyramid coming up at the end of the hour. We had some stuff, and I want to talk about the Henry Ruggs situation because that's terrible in itself. I also wanted to get a quick tit in here for Aaron Rodgers and what, all that was happening as far as Aaron goes. Aaron Rodgers comes back, test positive for COVID. He's basically, if you test negative twice in a 24-hour period, you can play, but that's if you're vaccinated. He came out and said that he was immunized, which didn't really state, hey, I'm vaccinated, I'm not, whatever, just said immunized. Later on, went on to the Pat McAfee show and started giving, more details, this and that. The thing with Aaron is, look, as far as getting the COVID, the shot, being vaccinated, all that stuff, to me, it's always been, hey, if you want to do it, you do it. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. I don't care. I don't play politics. But you also have to understand, NFL rules are NFL rules. So if you are unvaxxed and you end up COVID and there's an outbreak and you don't have enough players to play the game, there's no makeup like last year. You forfeit that game because you were not vaccinated. Luckily, the Packers didn't have to go through that today. But when it comes to something like this, he's trying to plead his case to make it like everything's okay. I'm okay. It should be okay. I should have been able to play, yada, yada, yada. But say if they forfeit it, what kind of look is that for Rodgers? I mean, you knew the rules coming in. If your team forfeits, no shot at Shemai. I'm sorry, Shemai, or there. This isn't the Lions here. I mean, you can't afford to be like, oh, well, we're just going to give up a game. We don't care. This is the Packers. You're in a fight to be one of the best teams in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl. You want a top team in the NFC. So one game forfeit is terrible. It could really hurt your season. The only question I've got as far as Rodgers is, and again, this isn't a political thing at all. I don't really care, if you've got a card or not. I don't care about that. My thing is if you know the rules coming in and it happens, how does that look for that player overall? It doesn't have to be Rodgers, but overall. Knowing your team is right there and say that one loss comes back to bite you, you don't make the playoffs. how does that look for a player? As a player going into it, is that something that just gets heated in the locker room? I mean, what would thoughts process going through your head?
I'm trying to figure out why he felt the need to lie about it in the first place. That's the first thing. But as far, you don't want any friction or any little things to start sidestepping what you're trying to accomplish. And when you start getting these kind of things, I need to know more before I talk about the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. But I do know he lied about it. Why, I'll never know. But if you're going to, it's the rule, you got to stick by the rule. If you look at Kyrie Irving, we've already went through this. And I can understand Kyrie's situation, but you also got to look at the other side. There's always another side. So I hope they can figure this out. I don't know what the NFL is going to do about it, but it's something that's going to be talked about, and then they'll come into a decision.
And speaking of, because we're still on the Vax thing with Rodgers, but you mentioned Kyrie. It came out that apparently the NBA is going to put Kyrie on the All-Star ballot. So I'm not going to lie, man. And again, this is what I love about our show here is, you've got the background and all I have is the big stomach because I'm on the couch and I didn't play, at the professional level other than professional, video games. But what I look at is, look, you're putting him on the ballot. It's a fan's vote. It's a popularity contest. If he gets voted to play the game, he's going to only play one game the entire year, and that is the All-Star game. That'll be the last game that he plays the entire year. As a player, I've always felt like you should be an All-Star game is for players that deserve to be there, not a popularity contest. As that's something that I'm wrong for believing because fans enjoy the game. It's an All-Star game. It's hoopla, it's this and that. But for me, an All-Star game is actually serious. It's for players that deserve to be there. So knowing he's on the ballot, how would that make you feel?
Well, he could be on the ballot, but in reality, he's not going to be playing. They wouldn't do that to another player. That's a spot that deserves to go to a player that's been playing regularly. And if that were to happen, they would make the adjustment. He will not be playing. That would not be his only game of the season. They would not allow it. I'm just saying. If you look at it, they will not allow that. He's sat out all year on this team, and they have to make a stand, and they'll make a stand, and they'll bring in the player that deserves to be there.
So hypothetically speaking, if he was to get voted on by the fans, does he sit out?
I can't see them letting him play. I just can't see Kyrie touching the floor. I see them him having to get vaccinated or whatever they're going to come up with, or if he tries to stretch this out until January, until this new governor comes in New York, who was talking about looking at changing the virus limitations or whatever it may be. So Kyrie's always up to something. He might try to drag this out to January and then see what happens then.
Yeah, we've got a comment in here because Trevor's in here saying NBA didn't enforce the mandate vaccination in the state of New York. The state of New York is the one mandating it, but when you're talking about the NBA All-Star game, it's not in New York this year. I can't remember where it actually is this year, but if the NBA is putting him on the ballot and he gets voted in, we both agree on that. He shouldn't be on the court. You haven't played all year. But again, because it's a popularity vote, and he wins a point guard position, it's like you have to let him play.
If they put Michael Jordan on the ballot, some people will vote for him. That doesn't mean he's going to come out the stands and play. So they can vote for him. It is a popularity contest, but you can't slight the guys that have been there, and that's what's going to end up happening. They'll replace him with another player, and Kyrie wouldn't have a problem with that. He'd understand that 100%.
Exactly. I feel the same way, and I hope Kyrie would do that as well. Being like, what? Hey,
Cleveland. Sorry.
Was that
Cleveland? Michael DeLeon. Cleveland, I think, is where the All-Star.
Okay, so it's in Cleveland this year. So it's in a state where, it's not really like mandated.
He really doesn't want to play there.
Well, I guess
it'd
not.
be nothing but booze the entire game.
I can see you that being booed 100% there because they boo the Browns too apparently.
Well, they'll definitely boo Kyrie. He let him and LeBron James couldn't coexist, so it's not LeBron's fault.
Who gets more boos, LeBron or Kyrie there
in Cleveland?
Yeah,
LeBron didn't get as much as he used to because he went back and completed his mission. He won a championship, so A lot of people appreciated that.
I still have.
They weren't burning his jerseys. They only did that the first time when he left and went to Miami. He came back and fulfilled his obligation.
I was living in Cleveland, not in Cleveland. I was living in Ohio when he made the announcement. And being an outsider from Texas, living in Ohio, I was kind of like, I don't know if we're safe up here, but I guess so. So I decided to buy a LeBron jersey and burn it myself just so I could fit in up there. Yeah, we'll see about the whole Kyrie thing. When we get back from this commercial break, it's Henry Ruggs talk. We want to get into that. I know you and I had a little conversation on social media. Chime in if you want, Rocky, as well. You're too quiet over here, man. You're like a model here. If you were going to be a model, I would have got you the Sweep the League shirt. You can model it for us here. Rocky Garza, Derek Gervin, Shamar on the beats. I think Chris is still there because he's excited about the pyramid coming up at segment 4. Rudy Campos Jr. Give us a call on the Project Spurs hotline, 210-308-8867, United Collision Care Center. What's on second? Project Spurs, 9:30 a.m. The Answer. We'll be back, guys.
Don't let the stress of getting into an accident keep you down. Contact United Collision Care Center, where Lewis and his certified technicians will get you back on the road in no time. They're a 5-star company with over 270 reviews on carwise.com. Quality and customer service are what separate them from the rest, making them the best. Specializing in body paint, frame, and mechanical services, from light cosmetic repairs to heavy collision hits, United Collision Care Center does it all. Contact them today at 210-595-6413 or visit their shop at 6575 Frat Road. Again, that's United Collision Care Center, the best in the business and official sponsor of Sweep the League.
You've been listening to Sweep the League Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Sweep the League. Shemaya is at Shemaya on the BT. Or what about Chris Geller at official Mr. 300? Sweep the League Radio, sponsored by Project Spurs, the United Collision Care Center. If you want to go visit them, you can also visit us at www.sweeptheleague.com. Two Shots Podcast is a fun-filled extravaganza bringing you into the world of sports and entertainment. Joe Garcia and the staff keep you updated on Spurs, combat sports, Dallas Cowboys, and my favorite, everything in Nerdville like Marvel and DC. Head to the line for Two Shots, as in Two Shots Podcast, available across all streaming platforms. No sport is bigger than football here in the Lone Star State. High school football is king on Friday nights, so listening to Along the Wire with B. Damone is a must. Brandon brings you all the latest news and notes, as well as rankings for our local high school football teams here in San Antonio. Cue up the band, get comfortable in your bleacher seat, and tune in for the best high school coverage around with Along the Wire.
You know what the difference is between you and me? I make this look good.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Bomb threats at Ivy League schools Cornell, Brown, and Columbia causing evacuations. Those threats coming 2 days after a bomb threat at Yale forced the evacuation of several buildings on that campus. We continue to pay more at the gas pumps, average price jumping 5 cents in the last 2 weeks, now $3.49 nationwide. That is $1.30 higher than exactly 12 months ago. The highest average price, $4.79 in San Francisco. The lowest average now in Houston at $2.98 per gallon. Just 2 days after that stampede at a concert left 8 people dead in Houston, the first lawsuits have already been filed, and authorities say criminal charges could be coming soon. This is SRN News.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. This is Sweep the League. Derek Gervin, Shemar on the beats, Rudy Campos Jr., Rocky Garza. I'm looking at the camera, and for those of y'all looking at the camera, Chris Geller is in there. He's just sitting back, relaxing, not having a care in the world until he loses the pyramid coming up after this segment. So we were talking about Kyrie, and that I wanted to bring up something with you first, Derek, before we get into that. United Collision Care Center, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. What's on second? Project Spurs. We are at 9:30 in the Answer. Give us a call on the Project Spurs hotline, 210-308-8867. We were talking real quick, Kyrie, before we get into Ruggs talk. You mentioned real quick with Kyrie. Kyrie for Ben Simmons. Which one's the bigger headache? Rocky, I think we were saying Kyrie.
Yeah, Kyrie.
Kyrie,
whole situation.
I think Kyrie by a smidge, but Harden's the biggest headache on that team. He's not getting the calls that he normally gets.
He's playing, though. Kyrie is sitting out, so I would have to give him the nod. He hasn't played all season. I mean, you guys talk about what they'll do sacrificing, and I can't say much about his COVID situation because that's a personal thing, but he's not there. So I couldn't put Harden over him. Harden's actually played better the last week or two.
Yeah. Hey, Josh Miller's in here. He said he'd rather hear us talk about the Cowboys losing than knowing we're Lions fans. I'm not even a Lions fan. I'm a Falcon fan. He's trolling us.
Can I tell Josh that one of the problems that the Cowboys today, they gave up 439 yards.
Yeah,
they did.
That whole defense, Cowboy defense, was supposed to be stout, Diggs, and all these guys. Like, well, but it's an off night. It happens. I mean, Lions off night. They have more off nights than
more like an off season.
Off season, they got tons of off seasons.
I'm just glad they got humbled, honestly. Cowboys.
It happens. It happens. Hey, Falcons are humbled all the time. I mean, we had to eat a big humble pie in the Super Bowl in front of everybody in the world. So, anyway, man. All right, Henry Ruggs talk. This is something that's been pretty bad, man. I'm trying to think of the words to say because to me, it's terrifying to know that, we've got athletes out there, 156 miles per hour in a Corvette. TMZ released a video showing how fast he was going. It was a quick snip of it. It hurt me a lot because you saw what happened. We know the outcome. Seeing that video come, watching that vet go 156 miles on that camera, knowing what happens after that. Henry Ruggs, I mean, he's talking, I think what Chris was telling me was it's a possible of up to 40 years in prison. 46 years in prison. I mean, it could have all been avoided by Uber and not driving. I mean, I'm kind of still at loss for words, Derek. You and I had a small talk about it. You really wanted the platform to talk about the Henry Ruggs situation. This is your show as well, brother. I want you to have this platform to talk about it because this is a very tragic thing. Something I hope we never see again happen. He had a brilliant.
And I'm just saying, what could be on your mind to the point? How much alcohol can you drink to make you forget that anything could happen? Someone could pop out in the middle of the road at any time. There are other cars out there on the road with you. It's just making better decisions. And the most thing I can do is focus on the families of both families and send my condolences to her family and hope that these two families can find a way to try to make it through this because that's a sad day, sad situation.
Yeah, it's very sad. And I've also got word, because Chris was giving me a little bit of the update. 156 miles per hour, seconds before the crash. 127 miles per hour.
When the airbag went off.
When the airbags deployed.
Yes.
I've been in an accident. I've been in a couple of accidents. One of them, I remember very, very, like if it was yesterday, to say, did I survive the accident? I'm still kind of shocked I didn't have any more than scratch and bruises and maybe, a strain here or there happened to me. But to know that your airbags deployed at 127 miles per hour is sickening. Corvettes, we know they're not metal. They're not anything like the older cars in the past. Corvette is what, all fiberglass material. I mean, going that fast and crashing, it's a miracle that, you know, even Henry, apparently he was just like, he survived. I mean, let's be real, he survived.
It's amazing too. If you look at a lot of situations, sadly, and I don't want anyone to perish or leave this earth.
Neither here.
Yeah, Errol Spence, if you remember, the boxer.
Yeah.
He had a terrible car accident. He was under the influence of alcohol. He survived. I had a friend, Mookie Blaylock, my former teammate.
Yeah.
He killed someone about 4 or 5 years ago. He served 3 years for it. He survived. They did not. So it's amazing. We just have to, bottom line, as athletes, we have to make better decisions. I know some of these guys haven't had money before, but you always have to remember that your career can be taken away in an instant. And you also have to think about the other people who.
Simple question.
I say yes. For me, yes. I think he's going to do some time. I think he's going to do a lot of time. I really do.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all agree it's going to be a career over for
at least
Henry
10,
Ruggs.
I think.
At least 10 years, what you saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, that's
probably more. I would assume more.
I would think it's got to be more. If we're looking at possible 40, I mean, that's close to life.
If you're out of the NFL 2 years, you're not. There's a good possibility you never have that dream again, ever reach that dream again. So he's going to do some time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, sending our condolences and prayers out to the families, all families infected by what happened with Henry Ruggs and that situation out there. Very, very tragic. Sweep the League, United Collision Care Center, Project Spurs, also What's on Second Sports Cards. Quick tidbit here on What's on Second. 4177 Naco Parent Boulevard, 210-590-8444. They got sports cards. They got everything there. Memorabilia, Pokemon cards. Go visit those guys out there. Like I said, if you can find a Derek Gervin rookie card, and he even questioned me when we were at a card show, said, that's not my year. And I looked it up. That was the year that they put him on. If you can find one of those, I'm sure he will charge you like $500 to sign it, which is kind of cheap.
I'm not that kind of guy.
United Collision Care Center, 210-595-6413. Luis and the guys out there will take care of all your needs. If you're in an accident, hey, give them a call. They'll get you back on the road in no time. Project Spurs, #1 Spurs coverage in all the land. We've got Rocky Garza from Project Spurs here as well. Got to get him to talk more. Talk more, Rocky. They all want to hear your voice out there. So Spurs ended up, I did look at this real quick. They ended up losing. That's probably why Michael said to stay off Spurs Twitter. We got the pyramid coming up here. But before we get into the pyramid, I want to go back to Spurs because you said on Twitter, Spurs Twitter, everybody's screaming for Primo.
Yeah.
They want the Primo pick. What do we got going on Twitter? Because Michael gave me the heads up, said, please stay away from Spurs Twitter tonight. I can't even get Derek to get on Twitter.
And that tweet I said earlier where they tweeted, we need Primo, I looked it up, and it was actually DeJounte's dad that tweeted that. He said he put "we need" and Primo all in caps, and there's a lot of Spurs fans retweeting it and favoring it right now and agreeing with him. He already has 11 retweets and 56 likes.
Dang. So okay, so then that's more cheese man. I like the cheese man on that. That's DeJounte's dad right there.
I think we could redeem that segment.
You want to redeem it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if we can redeem the Spurs Cheeseman segment here. He's lying. He's
That's
lying
lines for you now.
He's lying. You know what? We've got the best producer, hands down, in all of radio.
It's Halloween overtime, man. Someone's taking.
No. We've got the best producer in all of radio in San Antonio. He's just working with Lions equipment. Is that safe to say?
And the music, I gotta say, it's been on point. It's Midnight Groove.
So Derek's saying the best thing to come out of Detroit is the music, Motown, everything like that.
Best thing. That's medicine.
Oh,
That's
man.
medicine.
Would it help if I got a tattoo? That maybe the equipment will start working better? Is that a possibility? I mean, yeah. Okay, so then I'm gonna get a please equipment work for the next show. That way it'll.
How about a UTSA tattoo?
Yeah.
Come
on, man. You got to get one, man.
No, we don't do the cheese, man. I redeemed it, Rudy. Here we go.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs cheeseman. Dime, por favor.
All right, you got 5 seconds. Give me the cheese man. What did DeJounte's dad say?
We need Primo.
We need Primo. The segment was redeemed there by Shemaya. Spurs fans want Primo. DeJounte's dad wants Primo. Everybody wants Primo. HEB's got Primo. Why can't we have Primo? Primo picks 100% of the time. Pyramid coming up. Derek, you ready for the pyramid?
Yes, sir.
Rocky,
yes, sir.
you ready for the pyramid?
I'm ready.
Don't even worry about Chris. Chris and Rocky are losing this round. Pyramid coming up. Sweep the League Radio. Derek, Rocky, Shemaya on the beats, Rudy Campos Jr., and the guy behind the glass, Chris Galler. All you music heads out there, from punk to metal to indie, the Chuck Van Show plays the best in real local music from San Antonio and around Texas. Real new music you're not hearing anywhere else. Sundays at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on modsnapradio.com. It's the Chuck Vance Show.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Mark the MC, and you are listening to Sweep the League Radio. Before we get back to the show, here's a message from I Am Refocused.
I'm focused, man. Focused.
IamRefocusedRadio.com are proud friends of Sweep the League Radio. With new interviews each week, we are looking for special guests. Do you have a story? Are you an athlete, music artist, business owner? Visit IamRefocusedRadio.com today and send us a message. Now, back to Sweep the League Radio.
Spurs season isn't just 82 games, but year-round. That's why you need to make sure you have the best coverage around at all times. Project Spurs provides you with the most in-depth Spurs coverage all day, every day. Articles, analysis, and live game coverage provided by some of the best journalists in the business. Need more? Listen to the Spurs Cast with Paul Garcia for even more Spurs-related news and notes. Visit ProjectSpurs.com for all the latest Spurs information, or follow them on social media. Twitter is at Project Spurs, or just search for Project Spurs on Facebook and Instagram. Project Spurs, dominating Spurs coverage and proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Hey guys, it's Sweep the League. You've been listening to Sweep the League. Be sure to follow us on all of our Twitters, at Shemaya on the BT, at Sweep the League is myself. Why not go follow Chris Galler at official Mr. 300, or head over to the website, www.sweeptheleague.com. Again, Sweep the League Radio. Sweep the League. We are in the final segment of the weekend, the final sports segment of live radio on the weekend. Shemaya on the beats, Derek Gervin, Rocky Garza in studio. Chris Galler is in his little cubicle across from us. Rudy Campos Jr. It's pyramid time. It's game time, baby. I'm not even going to wait on this. It's pyramid time. Let's play the pyramid right now. I told you it was pyramid time. We're having a lot of technical issues tonight. No worries at all. It's live radio. I don't care if we have issues or not. It's pyramid time. Me and Derek are going up against Rocky and Chris. Basically, for all you guys out there that have never seen the pyramid, it's back in what, 70s, I think? Probably 70s.
It started in the 70s. Yeah, it's been going on a long, long time.
I think they tried to remake it too.
I wasn't even born, man.
You weren't born? When were you born?
I was born in 96.
Bro,
man,
I was graduated in 97.
I'm trying to think, was it Dick Clark or someone back then? 'Cause it was the start. I'm talking about at the beginning. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Dick Clark was a $25,000 pyramid. So this is similar to that. It's going to be Derek and I against Rocky and Chris. Chris, heads or tails, what do you want? See who goes first.
Tails.
All right, I don't have a coin, so we're just going to go ahead and let you go,
Let me go
first.
first. Yeah, that sounds good.
We're going to let you go first.
You're
So
telling them the category, right?
it's pyramid time. So the category for Chris and Rocky is anything and all things Spurs related. And that's cool because he's Project Spurs right here. So anything that you have 30 seconds to play the pyramid, 5 answers on the board. Rocky and Chris, are you guys ready?
I'm ready. You ready?
I think
Let's
so.
play the pyramid. You got
Give me-
30 seconds.
Give me the go.
30 seconds, and it starts now.
All right. They use this when they play.
Basketball.
Yep. The name of the team.
San Antonio.
More.
San Antonio Spurs.
There you go. DeJounte Murray is what of the team?
The point guard of the team.
High on the team.
The leader.
Yep. They have said that the Spurs are a what type of team?
5 seconds.
Rebuilding team. Youth.
Nope.
Developing.
Like think bigger, like Duncan era.
That's it. That's it. 30 seconds is up. Y'all got
that was quick.
Y'all got 3 out of the 5. So the fourth one was what, Chris?
Dynasty.
Dynasty.
And then the last one, they just came out with the jerseys.
Fiesta.
Yeah.
There you go.
I was going to go to that one first, but I should have gone to that one to get that extra.
All right, so they got 3 right, and
Wish
they
I had
had
a
30
timer.
seconds. Well, yeah, we got the timer here. Don't worry, I didn't cheat you. I actually gave you a couple extra
I
seconds.
wish I could see it. Though.
Those were some easy questions, man.
Yeah, those
Oh,
were.
don't worry,
I got the
yours are
hard
too.
ones. I
You
got
did
the hard
those.
ones here. I got the hard ones. Now, the good thing about it is, since this is our show, Derek and myself, we get 7 minutes to get this category right.
I might need something.
All right, so our turn. We got to get 4, Derek. We got to get 4. I'm nervous because
Don't let them cheat me,
I've
Shemaiah.
never
Look at that.
I've
Look at that
never. Okay, so I'm gonna start at around 0 seconds. So we can get 30 seconds in here. I'm not good at this, and I hope I can do this because Derek wants to stay perfect on this.
We'll
here,
give
so-
it our best shot.
Oh God, you make me nervous, Derek. All right, our category is anything and everything UTSA, Derek, and our time starts now. They throw this in the game.
Football.
Ding. This is the mascot.
Rowdy.
No, come on, man.
I can't even think of our mascot, the Road Runner.
There you go. This is where they play the games. Where they play
Alamo Dome.
Yeah,
Alamo
all
Dome.
right. So no losses. No losses.
Undefeated.
No.
Highly ranked
A
team.
pitcher throws it's no losses. It's
curve.
that's it.
Pitcher throws a strike. He threw me off.
No losses. That was perfect season.
Yeah, you threw me with the pitcher. It threw me
Well,
off.
pitcher, I meant perfect. So a pitcher would throw
like a
perfect.
no-hitter.
Yeah, I'm like no
it's
hitter,
perfect.
curveball.
I mean,
That's
perfect
all right.
season.
Hey, we gave it a good shot.
So, and the last one was dominant.
So what do we do? Tie?
So we tied. Now, the way this tie works is you and I win because I mean it's you and I.
Is there a bonus question?
We can maybe do we can do a bonus question here. I don't know what we can do as far as to break the tie. I mean, what do you guys want to do?
What you got? Bonus question, or do we just call it a tie?
I'll do a bonus question. Chris is down for it.
Sure. I mean, Shemaiah looking up a bonus
We
question.
can get
here, or-
Shemaiah to give us one topic. trying. We're trying.
I love it.
We got Jeopardy coming up. Are you good at Jeopardy?
Yes. Oh, I'm gonna participate. That's for sure.
We got Jeopardy. We got a lot of game shows that we play on this show. A lot of game shows. Pyramid for sure. We tied with Rocky and Chris. We got 3. They got 3. We're looking for a tiebreaker here. All right. So Michael DeLeon is saying Cowboys for the tie. So why don't we do anything and everything Cowboy? I'll tell you what. Let's get Shemaya to write down two topics.
Cowboy or George Gervin?
That's too easy.
I was gonna say we'll take George Gervin. I mean, we'll take the Gervin topic. That's for sure.
No.
We'll take the Gervin topic. I mean, if anything, we gotta figure out a tiebreaker here. We gotta figure this out.
Go to a different sport.
All right, so I'll tell you what, Yaller, come up with 2, or come up with four words. I'll come up with 4 words right now, and let's do this tiebreaker. We cannot end the show with a tie at all.
Can I should be asking the question because I got one that will stump you both, all of you.
But you don't want to stump me that bad. You're my partner.
No, I'm
in
just
this.
saying. See, I'm saying when you go to a different sport, think about this question: who are the 2 teams that got eliminated before the World Series?
The Dodgers and the who did the Astros beat? The Red Sox.
See, he had to think about it.
Yeah, he had to think about it.
So we win, right? Because you got that right.
Well, no, you can't just say
right.
you win the game. That's impossible. You can't win the game.
What am I coming up with?
I got a question for
All
you.
right.
Okay. So
the Dallas Cowboys were founded in what year?
Oh my God.
And no, I'm not. This guy better not be looking it up in the room.
I'm not. Look,
Yeah, I'm not looking at either.
I'm gonna go 1976.
That's pretty close, but no, that's not it.
All right. So is this kind of like Price is Right, where we can't go over?
Remember now, Bob Hayes was playing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back to the 1960s and the late 60s.
Give a year.
I'm gonna say 1967.
Who was closest?
Derek was close.
There we go.
It's actually 1960, so you only 7 years
60.
old.
Well, I
man.
know
So
it's
you
60.
There we go.
I should have known that. Bob Hayes.
Undefeated Derek Gervin.
Hey, Shamika, that's when he was running in this 1960. Yeah.
It's rigged, man.
It's not rigged.
I saw Samaya show him his phone.
It's never rigged. Derek Gervin remains undefeated on Sweep the
And
League.
under pressure. That's impressive.
Under
man.
pressure as well. Every single week, I think we're gonna have to team up, me and Derek. When it comes to the doubles games, we're gonna have to team up because I know he knows a lot more than I do for sure. I just want to make an acceptance speech real quick. I am
Can you
humbled.
buzz him out, please?
I'm humbled. I'm humbled to get a victory after last week's defeat.
Thank you.
Because Chris set me up for failure. Derek is setting me up for success. I appreciate that, Derek. I don't know why we have The Exorcist playing in the background.
I don't know either.
Shemaya wants me to like turn my head around or something. I'm not going crazy.
Hey, real
like
quick, halftime Tennessee game, 21-3 Tennessee.
21-3 to Tennessee.
Without Derrick Henry, huh?
Without Derrick Henry,
Wow.
you're looking at only 76 passing yards for Tannehill, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. There's honestly, not much to talk about. He ran a touchdown in. There's only 94 total yards in the entire for both teams.
Wow.
94 total yards, period.
Did AP get any playing time yet or no?
Yeah, he has 10 yards, 5 rushes, 10 yards. Foreman's at 2 rushing yards, 12 yards.
Well, we got more games coming next
There was
week.
a defensive touchdown as well.
We got more games coming next week on Sweep the League. We played the Pyramid today. Derek Gervin is still undefeated on games. He's 2-0. He's the greatest game participant of all time on Sweep the League history. I am a close second at 1-1 on the year. How about it? Should we get Shemaya next week on the game? We probably need to get Shemaya on the next day. Sweep the League Radio next week. Derek Gervin, Shemaya on the beats, Rudy Campos Jr., Chris Galler. Thank you, Rocky Garza, for coming in. Project Spurs. He's probably going to be in the studio a few more times with us for the Cheese Miss segment. Sorry it didn't work tonight. We will blame the board on that. Sweep the League Radio. We'll see you guys next week. We love y'all.
Everyone have a great night. Thank you for tuning in.
Locked On Spurs gives you in-depth access to your local San Antonio Spurs team 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Jeff Garcia